How we doing, people? Welcome back to Jimmy Case TV and a case for the Blues. We're doing game week 2 match reaction where Chelsea slap up West Ham at the London Stadium 5-1. Now, obviously, a lot better than last week's 0-0 draw against Crystal Palace, where we looked a little bit off of it. We didn't look prepared. Obviously, we've only had 2 games in pre-season, really. Not much preparation, and you could see that in our performance last week. We looked off it on the ball, lacking a bit of quality. Nothing was clicking. And you know what? I feel like there was a little bit of an overrun in this game, which we'll touch base on. But obviously, in the end, we roll out 5-1, and it ends up being quite a dominant performance. Now, it did help that West Ham were that bad, to be fair. They were really, really poor. So we'll get into the nitty-gritty. Let's start with the lineups. We'll go with Sanchez in goal, Cucurella at left back, Tosin and Chalobah. Obviously, Tosin coming in from last week where he wasn't available. Gusto at right back, giving Reece James a rest, which is good. Again, managing his minutes. Enzo and Caicedo in the middle. Neto on the left. João Pedro in the 10, which was a little bit of a surprise. Obviously, Enzo Maresca switching it up a little bit. Esteval having to come in and make his first Premier League start. Unfortunately, Palmer walking off in the warm up, having to go down the tunnel. Obviously, he's got a little bit of a problem going on there. Nothing confirmed yet, but they did come out with a statement after saying that he was precautionary. He felt a little twinge during training, and he felt it again. So he's just taking a rest. So hopefully nothing too bad, and he can train and be with us next week. And then we go with Liam Delap up top. So obviously a different lineup from Enzo Maresca today, utilising Delap and João Pedro in behind. So an interesting one to see. Now, obviously, West Ham lost 3-0 last week. So you'd go into this match thinking, okay, this is going to be a pretty easy game. I mean, there's a lot of problems going on at West Ham at the moment. The fans are not happy. They're not happy with Graham Potter and the way that he's playing. They haven't won a lot of games since Potter has taken over. I think it's something like 3 in 17. That may be incorrect, but I think I heard that earlier. I might check that in a minute. But yeah, I'll be honest with you. The first 20 minutes when we started the game, I thought there was a little bit of a rollover of last week. I felt we looked off it. We were lacking quality. There was slow build-up. There was lazy movement. Not confident on the ball. And I'll be honest with you, every time West Ham created a little bit of pressure to us, we looked all over the place. And it was a little bit of a worry, to be fair. And, we bite the bullet with that because the ball's picked up with Paqueta in a decent place. And he scores an absolute screamer, like fucking bins it from a really difficult angle. But in my opinion, there was a few things that we could have improved on with that goal. One, Esteval losing the ball in a key area. He's got to learn from that. He's got to look at that and see what he was doing. Caicedo stopping the press, which I thought was a little bit strange. I've had a lot of people online saying, no, he didn't do anything wrong, but watch the replay again. I've watched the replay. Someone tried to tell me that he was shadow marking somebody. There was nobody around him. That player had already left him. He goes to press the ball. He stops for some reason, allowing the shot to take place. I think Caicedo needs to take a little bit of responsibility for that goal. And then there's Rob Sanchez. And now this is a worry because that's the second week in a row where I feel like this goalkeeper's done something that we should be worried about. Saving it, I know he was caught off guard. Don't get me wrong. I don't think he was going to save this shot anyway. But the worry is he goes to save it with his right arm rather than his left. And as a goalkeeper, you would think, the right way of saving this would go with my left. It's going that way. And he makes a little lazy effort to go with his right hand, and it just flies in the back of the net. Now, again, like I said, he was caught off guard, and I don't think he was going to save it, even if he did go with his left hand. But that just concerns me. And I don't know if I'm the only one saying that. I looked online. A lot of people are saying the same thing, that Sanchez could have done better. Even the commentators saying that Sanchez could have done better for that goal. But I'll be honest with you, I do think he was caught out there, but a little bit of a worry in the way that he's saving it. Now, the management should see this. The owners should see this. The fans see it week in, week out, and we've been calling for another goalkeeper. Donnarumma's there. The only issue with Donnarumma, apparently, he's not very good with his feet. I can't comment fully because I don't watch him week in, week out to say this. But he's not good with his feet, apparently. So that's why people wouldn't go for him. but he's available. Is he going to make that kind of mistake? I don't know. But the goalkeeping position for Chelsea this season, in my opinion, is an issue. And if we're going to be challenging for a title, for example, that is one of the positions which is going to prevent us from doing so if we do not improve it. And we've been saying it all season, and we've been saying it all pre-season, ever since the transfer market's been open. We've been saying we need to improve that position. However, it didn't take long after that goal for us to equalise. João Pedro popping up with a header that was flicked on from the front post from Cucurella from a corner. Nice little header, right place, right time. Good from Cucurella. Drew, I can't remember who it was. Drew the player out to the corner, come back in, flicked it on. João Pedro with the header, 1-1. But again, even still, after that goal, we still looked a little bit unconvincing defensively. When West Ham were applying pressure, we just didn't look comfortable. And, again, we bite the bullet again. Their ball goes down the right-hand side. Todibo swings it in, and Fulkrug slots one in and does some stupid little dance for VAR to cancel it out. Idiot, absolute dickhead. That's become the meme of the season already, game week 2. Doing some stupid dance with Todibo being offside. But then, after that felt like the wake-up call for Chelsea. I think these guys thought, you know what, no, let's switch on now. And it felt like they shook off the rustiness and flipped their switch, however you want to say it. And we started to play better, a little bit more control. We started to attack with some real intent. Some poor defensive work from West Ham helped us. And that led to our second goal with João Pedro crossing it in at the back post. Neto, right time, right place, tapping. Poor from Aaron Wan-Bissaka. I'm not going to lie. Now, on my stream, if you did tune in, thanks for tuning in. On my stream, I was crediting Aaron Wan-Bissaka because 1v1, this guy is very, very hard to beat. Defensively, 1v1, he is very good. He will get beat, but his recovery is fantastic. Now, the issues that he does have is off the ball. He's terrible at marking. He's absolutely shocking at marking. And it was 2 mistakes from him defensively that led to these goals. Now, the Neto one, he sees him, he misses him, and Neto taps it in. It was a good cross from João Pedro at the end of the day. He gets an assist and a goal. But, from that point on, West Ham just continued to crumble. And we rounded off the first half with Esteval linking up with Delap's hold-up play, running down the wing, crossing it for an Enzo tap-in, and we celebrate 3-1, and we go into the half 3-1. Not really quite comfortable after that point. I saw West Ham fans leaving at 35 minutes. They were showing on camera leaving after 35 minutes. That is disgraceful. Absolutely disgraceful. But there's issues at West Ham, and I'm speaking from a lot of West Ham fans. They are not happy at all. And when you look at their business that they've done this season, Todibo and Callum Wilson, and they've got rid of Kudos and they've got rid of Alvarez on loan. The Alvarez one, I just don't understand. What is going on at West Ham? The way that it's going, and after the result against Sunderland, and after this result today, you've got to be looking at West Ham going, this might be your last season. You might not hang on this season. Gradually, after sacking Moyes, they've struggled. I think sacking Moyes was probably their biggest mistake. Now, a lot of people were saying they wanted Moyes gone, and I just don't understand it. And I just feel like you deserve it. Won you your trophy, and then people were saying, all right, we need someone else to push on now. Who the fuck do you think you are? Honestly. Who do you think you are as a club that you think, you know what, we'll get rid of the guy that's got us our trophy. We now need someone to push us on. Now, look where you are with Potter. Coming out every single press conference, giving it, they gave it their all. The players gave it their all. I mean, Potter lost his head in the press conference after. He's had enough as well. He hasn't been backed. Let's be honest, he has not been backed. And he's been making that quite clear in his press conferences. Anyway, second half, no subs from Chelsea. West Ham make 2. I think Callum Wilson come on and Potts came on for West Ham with Todibo coming off. I can't remember who came off for Callum Wilson. It might have been Fulkrug. I think it was Fulkrug. But very quickly in that second half, we capitalise again from a corner. Second corner of the game where we've scored from. Caicedo instinctively sticking his foot out, which goes in the back of the net. And then literally 4 minutes later, another corner. Can you imagine that? 3 corners in one game. Chalobah scores from it. Like, that's so bad from West Ham. We've gone from a club where I've been complaining all season, like, what's going on? Like, we never score from corners. And we've got 3 in one game. And to concede from 3 corners in one game is absolutely insane. And at 5-1, that was the game wrapped up. And Maresca then was allowed to make his subs. He brought on Santos, Reece James, Joel Hatto, and Wesley Fofana obviously made his comeback. And then later on, Jamie Gittins come on. So good to see Fofana coming back. Hopefully we can manage his minutes similar to how we've managed Reece James and, ease him back into like having a full season, because let's be honest, he ain't played much for Chelsea for the amount that we paid for him. So we need to try and give him the Reece James treatment, I think, and ease him back in, rotate him with the other centre-backs, just so we can get him playing again and again and again. Now, when Reece James come on, I thought he was absolutely fantastic, by the way. There was one pass that he done for Esteval that took out 2 defenders, and Esteval just couldn't get the ball in the back of the net. He cut in, probably took an extra touch that he shouldn't have done, but what a ridiculous pass. Now, we need that from Reece James week in, week out. So I'm very happy with how we've managed Reece James's minutes after his injuries, etc. Because I feel like we're slowly getting him back, like, to his full potential, his full fitness, and I'm super gassed to see what we're going to get out of him this season. But saying that, I do still want to err on the side of caution and manage his minutes the way that they're doing, like today, having Gusto come on. And of course, you've got to keep your players happy as well. So if we can do the rotation, let's do from the rotation. But my main question for this game is, what can we take from it? We've won 5-1 against West Ham, who lost 3-0 against Sunderland, a team coming up from the Championship last year. They were dreadful, let's be honest. I mean, I thought they started quite good, attacking with intent, pressing well, and then they filtered out. And I just thought they were very, very poor. As we started to build a little bit of momentum, it felt like they started to go the other way and decline. And maybe it's because they just haven't got the quality of players on the pitch. I wasn't too keen on looking at their lineup, the way that they set up with the 5 at the back. I don't think it benefited them. Their wing backs didn't really get forward and didn't really offer anything. Diouf, maybe out of the 2, probably helped the most. But it just didn't seem to work against whatever we was doing, and it didn't seem like they had any plan B. And by then, it was too late. We was 5-1 up. But, I think it's a game that we shouldn't really get too carried away. We've played a team that is poor, even though it brought us loads of enjoyment and we can get super gassed about how many goals we've scored, etc. I think there's still a clear issue in our defence. When teams apply pressure to us, we don't look comfortable. We look a little bit all over the place. And I think if a stronger team did come in and cause them similar issues, then we would know about it. And I think after playing Palace last week, they're obviously, I think, a pretty good side. And you could see that we were struggling to break them down, and they was also causing us a lot of problems going forward. So if a better team come in and we play a better team, I don't think we're going to be as comfortable as we were today. So for us, I think that we need to keep playing some good teams to really see where we are. I mean, attacking wise, when we get cooking, we look really good. Like, the counter attack is electric. And I think the Premier League needs to be ready for our counters, because when we really get going, it ticks, it's bounce, 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 goal. And that's something that everyone's got to pay attention to this year. But like I said, I think we need to play a higher caliber of team in the Premier League to see where we really are. But nonetheless, I think this game falls at a good point in the season where we're trying to ease our way into the season. We haven't had much preparation. This will go down as a game where, it'll be beneficial to us to shake off all the rustiness that we've got. So can't really see it as a negative in the end of the day. Obviously it's a positive. We've got the 3 points, and 5-1 would do a massive boost for the players. So we just need to crack on with that, to be fair. I don't know who we've got next. Give me 2 seconds. I'm just going to double check that. Part of me thinks that we've got... is it Fulham? Yeah, Fulham. Yeah. We've got Fulham next at home now. Obviously, Fulham are going to be that higher caliber side compared to West Ham. But I don't see them being, no, tell a lie. I do see them being problematic. Last season, they won this fixture. They beat us in the dying seconds of the game. And it was only in the reverse fixture away to them where Tyreek George got that crucial goal. That probably changed our season, let's be honest. I think that's going to be a good test, and we need to, put in a performance against them. But anyway, let's get to the Premier. What am I talking about? The player ratings. Sanchez, I thought he did okay. Again, just some worrying things. I think for the second goal, he tries to save it with his feet. I think he got a little bit unlucky there. I think it was a good finish from Fulcrook, to be fair. The first goal, I think there's some things we need to be looking at. Cucurella, usual standard Cucurella performance. Don't think he could have done much for that second goal that got disallowed. Obviously, Todibo runs past him and they do a little link up and it's just whipped in. Chalobah grabbed the goal, done well once he was settled, let's be honest. Once we were comfortable, he looked comfortable. So it was the problem that I think is, if a team has got a little bit more intent about them, there's going to be issues. And I think we saw that in the first 20 minutes. And the same goes for Tosin. Although Tosin's very good in the air, like honestly, aerially, the geezer's fantastic. He wins nearly every single header. But the problem is when you've got a striker and then you've got the attackers that are, linking up quite well, keeping it on the ground, and they're driving that goal, I kind of feel like them two are a little bit of a weakness. But the more they play together, the better it will be. Again, like I said, this game coming at the time that it's come at is very good for us. Gusto thought he'd done well. Good start for him. I need him to continue his pre-season form, to be fair, because last season was not good enough. So I need him to, carry on the way that he's going. I thought he'd done all right. Enzo grabbed the goal, and I think he played a good role in linking up the play from defence to... Fucking hell. Swallow the fly. I didn't really. I think he played a good role in linking up our defence to the attack and starting our moves. Caicedo, thought he was okay today. Also grabbed the goal. Usual performance for him. Interceptions. Obviously, there was the one blip, I think, for the goal that I think he could have done better. The problem that we have is if Enzo and Caicedo start slow, the whole team starts slow. And we really feel it in that midfield because it becomes open. If them two are not performing together and in sync, we have a big issue. And it's one that with a lot of Chelsea fans have looked at and said, this partnership is a problem. And it's nothing new. They just need to be in sync and they need to get into the game very quickly. And if they don't, we have issues. Neto, for me, I thought he was man of the match. I'm not going to lie. Obviously, Esteval got the man of the match award. I thought he was very good. The only issues is obviously 1v1 is very high. Like, as I said, Aaron Wan-Bissaka is very good 1v1, but his movement off the ball created issues non-stop all game. He grabbed the goal and he just caused problems all game. Defensively, I also thought he was very good. So I'm very happy with Neto. I would have given him man of the match. Esteval grabbed the assist with a great move, showing some promise, to be fair. A lot of people are getting gassed over him over this game. Obviously, his first Premier League start. He wins man of the match. The only other player to do that was Eden Hazard. So, some promising stats there. You look at his stats, and that's probably the reason why he got man of the match. But defensively, I thought he could have probably done a little bit better. And especially, it was his mistake for the goal. You can see that he needs to settle. He still needs to settle. It's still a little bit raw. But there's some promising signs from this player. Very direct, very skillful. Nobody knows what he's going to do with his feet. And you can see that he's got a bit about him. He's not afraid to shoot and let one off. In terms of where he is in his development, I think he's quite advanced, quite advanced. And I can understand why we let Madueke go. João Pedro got the goal and got 2 assists. You could have probably given him man of the match for his performance for that alone. But his link-up play was fantastic. And I thought his movement today, pretty good. Delap thought he done okay. Now, for me, I've seen a lot of people moaning about Delap online. Now, this is bugging me because people obviously don't know football. When you're playing against the back five, you're very isolated. And I don't think he had many chances. This was not a game for the striker, in my opinion. So we needed to rely on him to do all the dog work. Get the dog work done, bring in the other players. And I thought that's exactly what he did. The Enzo goal, linking up with Esteval, is exactly what we need. That is the prime example of what we need from the striker in that instance. Now, people are trying to give it the, oh, well, if we had Jackson playing, let me tell you now, he would have had, the exact same chances as Delap today. He's not creating his own chances, Jackson. So what do you like? You need to watch the game for what it is and see what he's actually doing and what beneficial. Just because he's not scoring or grabbing assists doesn't mean the guy's not having a good performance. For me, I thought he did really well today, and I liked what he done. Then we look at the subs, for example. What we're talking about, for example, subs coming in. Reece James, thought he was fantastic. Very good performance when he come on. Obviously, that pass to Esteval was ridiculous, just showing his class and the level that he's at. Santos was okay, didn't do much. Gittins didn't do much. Hato, think he come on, did okay, kept it clean other than the yellow card that he got. Fofana, good return from him, man. He's going to need more of that. Little bit rusty, but he's going to need some game time and manage properly for him to get rid of all of that and integrate him back into first team football. Now, I've waffled on for too long, starting to lose my trail of thought. But anyway, leave a like on the video, hit the subscribe button if you're new to the channel. Thanks for tuning in. And if you've been tuning into my streams, I appreciate it as well. Waffling on now. Have a good one. I'll see you on the next one. It's going to be Chelsea Fulham, the next one. See you on the next live stream. Thank you. Peace.